Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. So, imposter syndrome. That's, I think that's something that we all suffer from, even if we don't confess to it. And I thought I would share with you some observations about how to squish it into a tiny little ball and ignore it, rather than to actually make it go away. I'm not convinced that that's possible. I was just speaking with a couple of our other presenters this afternoon, and one of them said, "Oh, you'll be right though." And we exchanged a moment about feeling a little nervous. I thought, you must be kidding, my talk is about imposter syndrome. So 4 in 5 of us suffer from imposter syndrome over the course of our lifetime. 70% of people who suffer from imposter syndrome are women. Other groups that are substantially overrepresented as sufferers of imposter syndrome are others who live their lives on a stage built for people of another gender, of another sexual orientation, of another language or another culture. So what is it? It's that niggling voice that says, "Oh, could have said that a little bit differently, could have done that a little bit differently." Sometimes it's a loud shouting, clamour. Oftentimes it's at 4 o'clock in the morning, very inconvenient when you're trying to get back to sleep. Little voice that says, "I can't believe I agreed to do this talk. I can't believe that I thought I could talk about imposter syndrome. Why would anyone want to hear about that? Why would anyone want to hear about that from me? Well, at least it'll be fine. I'll get there and there'll be nobody that I know." That didn't happen either. And then just a moment ago, Paul said, "Oh, the talks this morning, they were really good. Some of them made people cry." It's like, great, this is great. Okay, the pressure is on DEFCON 5. So, anybody else ever have those kind of thoughts? Yes. Good. There's company in this room that I think can relate. Has anybody ever experienced the fear of being found out? You know, we joke about the expression, "fake it till you make it," but we're only joking a little bit, aren't we? And then there's the inefficiency. I really don't know how you could start and complete a book. An extraordinary achievement, and a great triumph of focus and determination. But you know, that redrafting the text message, redrafting the email. Oh, I just want to get it right. I don't want this person to think I'm a numpty. I've got to make it, like that terrifying English teacher from year 11 taught me. Get and got should be shot. These kinds of thoughts, they're really debilitating, and they erode your time, and they erode your confidence. Now, there have been lots of studies about women's confidence and imposter syndrome. Anybody who has ever recruited staff, in fact, anybody who's ever applied for a job probably has their own version of this. There's a fabulous looking position that's advertised internally or externally. This is the job of your dreams. And what the research tells us time and time again is that 10 selection criteria, the women before applying will go, yep, yes, can do that, yes, can do that, can do that one, can do that one. Oh, I'm not 100% sure I can do that one. Yep. Best not apply is the conclusion that they come to. Their brother with very comparable work experience, very comparable skills, very comparable ambitions. Yes, I've done this one. Oh, yeah, she'll be right, I can do that. No, yes, cool, application in. Now, why is it important for us to tackle our imposter syndrome? Firstly, I think it's really important for us who suffer it all to enjoy some better peace of mind. And so I think, You know, like those who have ever practiced meditation will know, here comes the bad thought, catch it, observe it, send it on its way, rather than let it stay and dwell, and rather than let it ever embed itself as a fact when usually it's not. Secondly, of course, our society can and will be so much better when everyone is afforded the opportunity to fulfil their potential. So all of those people who don't take that class at school, who don't try that vocational or tertiary qualification, who don't say, yeah, I could be on the committee at the childcare centre, or I could run for council, or I could run for president, or I could sit in a room of my peers to talk about an issue in my community and say, yeah, I reckon we should do it this way. By occupational group, we will be a better society if there are more girls in STEM, studying STEM and working in those fields. We will be a better society if everyone who's got an idea to contribute has the confidence to let it come out of their mouth. And we know that we will be a better society if there are more representative groups of people in the rooms where decisions are made. Now, there has been some great progress for women in politics, but often with the very blunt instrument of a quota to overcome the imposter syndrome factor. And in sectors and endeavours and fields and industries where there is not, we still see that massive confidence gap turning into a massive participation gap. Now, I want to also share with you the relationship between imposter syndrome and language. Now, this beautiful room full of people, imagine if I said, right, now we're going to go from you there, everybody's going to have a turn, just a couple of sentences about yourself if you don't mind, please. Yeah, there's only, this big room full of people, most of whom you've not met before. That's not too scary. And from the looks on your faces, I think half of you just had this kind of horrible jumpy thing in your stomach, making that seem very scary. So just bear with me 1 second while you think, I will introduce myself like this. How many of you think of yourself as just a something? Or I've had some luck. I've had some luck in my career. But I'm just a journalist. I'm just an author. I'm just the farmer's wife. I do the books for the business. I'm just a professor. I'm just the school principal. I have heard all of these. I have heard this 3 times this week alone. And once there was a time in Victoria, in Australia, where we had only had one female leader of our state. It was a while ago. That first female leader of the state of Victoria here in Australia was a woman called Joan Kerner. And many years ago, about 2007, I was at a breakfast with her in a small town, not terribly far from here, in Ararat, a breakfast. About a dozen women sharing stories of resilience and community at the end of a very long period of drought, terribly impacting this rural community. And what Joan made us all promise was that we would call out that diminishing language, and particularly the use of I'm just a, every single time we ever heard it or ever saw it for the rest of our lives. Now, we all took a pledge. I'm going to ask you all to take that pledge because until we stop pretending to ourselves and others, we are inhibiting the extraordinary potential of our society, of our communities, of our organisations, and of our businesses, indeed all walks of life. and ourselves, and of course, our future generations. Thank you.